Hello, I'm Gavin, London Blue Badge tour guide, inviting you to join me on a series of 6 virtual tours of London. I'm missing showing you around London's diverse neighbourhoods, its wonderful museums and art galleries. But I hope that these virtual tours will complement those regular tours we have done until we can meet again in person. Each virtual tour will be about 45 minutes. And you can use the chat function within Zoom to ask questions, which I will do at the end. So what can you expect from these virtual tours? Well, we'll be discussing the development of London from its creation by the Romans 2000 years ago as a thriving port, and as it grows through the centuries, creating these distinctive neighbourhoods, which have an impact on the variety of the architecture that we see in London. So why does Spitalfields look like this and Bloomsbury look like this? In Belgravia, the brick buildings are covered in a white plaster known as stucco, but nearby, red brick in South Kensington. So we'll explore all of these. We'll also go on a virtual Whitehall wander, courtesy of Apple Maps Flyover. We can zoom in and see Trafalgar Square with Nelson's Column, and then work our way down Whitehall. I'll be talking about the various buildings, including the old Admiralty going past now, and then Horse Guards Parade, scene of Trooping the Colour, passing over Downing Street towards the Foreign and Commonwealth building and the Treasury building with that circular courtyard that we see there. Well, we can also go down to street level, courtesy of Google's Street View maps. Here we are opposite Horse Guards Parade with the Blues and Royals, the soldiers on their horses there. Across the road, we have the magnificent banqueting house with its wonderful ceiling painted by Rubens. So much to tell you about that. And thinking about the soldiers, we're going to do a session on London's ceremonies and customs, by the end of which you'll be able to identify which regiment these soldiers belong to as they're doing part of the changing of the guard. It's not just those big ceremonies, there are lots of unique ones happening, particularly within the City of London. So what day do you need to be in London to see all these old carriages going past? Why these gentlemen carrying a boar's head to the Lord Mayor of the City of London? And we'll talk about the world's longest running boat race. We'll also look at some of the famous sites of London, including the Tower of London. I'll be telling you about its history, about the political prisoners who were kept here, royal executions, the ravens, crown jewels, and the fabulous armour worn by King Henry VIII. This will give you all the information you need to make the most of a visit you can do on your own. One of the advantages of virtual tours is there's no queue to get in. The other great building we'll discuss is St Paul's Cathedral. The medieval cathedral had burnt down in the Great Fire of 1666. And it was rebuilt by the architect Christopher Wren, who left lots of records which are now in the archives. So we can talk about the role of the masons, the carpenters, the glaziers, etc. And we can zoom along the top here to actually have a flyover, seeing the cruciform shape of the building, but also see things that we can't actually see from the ground. For example, the flying buttresses just here, which Wren disguised behind this curtain wall. And we can go inside the cathedral as well, looking at the magnificent architecture, and we'll be able to look up at that dome we saw just now. But inside, the dome is painted by the artist Thornhill with scenes of the life of St. Paul. Now, you can't zoom in real life, so this is one of the advantages of these kind of tours. We can actually look at some of the details here. I'll also talk about the mosaics which were added in the late 1800s when Queen Victoria described the interior as looking dark, dingy and undevotional. And we'll be heading back 400 years to Shakespeare's time. Join me on a virtual tour of Shakespeare's London to find out more about what was it really like to live in London during Shakespeare's period. We discuss his life, his times, his legacy in terms of language and also the theatre, and why this memorial is not actually to Shakespeare, but to two of his acting colleagues, John Hemming and Henry Condell. And they were the ones who brought together 36 of Shakespeare's plays in the first folio in 1623, 7 years after Shakespeare's death. So I hope that's whetted your appetite to join me on this series of virtual tours. I'm also available for private virtual tours. So if there is a particular area of London you'd like to discover, or museums or art galleries from the comfort of your own home, please do get in touch. My details there, gavinswebb@hotmail.com. More information on my website, tourguideoflondon.com. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to welcoming you on a virtual tour soon. Goodbye.